Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon. It's 11:30 here in Chicago. Might be afternoon where you are. It might be evening. I suppose it could be late at night for you as well. Wherever you find yourself in this big, beautiful, and messy world, I hope you find it in a place of love, kindness, compassion, and peace. I am Carol C.C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and Global Hugger, coming to you with another episode of Embrace Your Life Chat, where the focus and the intention behind it is to help heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. So I'm going to try. I realize I tend to talk fast, and especially for people who English is their second language, I apologize. I'm gonna practice talking slower so it's not so which I usually am. But anyway, welcome. Let me know where you're joining me from. Again, I am here in Chicago. It is a rainy spring day, but it's a warm day, so that is nice. I do like to go over a couple of things before we get into today's topic, to especially for newbies. And let me know if this is the first time you're joining me. I love to welcome in new people to our community. You may just be seeing me on, well, you're not may be seeing, you're only seeing me on camera. However, everyone in the comments is part of this community too. So know that you're a part of a bigger thing than just watching me talk. So let me know where you're joining me from and if you're new to our community. We have people from all over the world often who join in on this conversation, so it's nice to know where people are from. The things I like to share before we get started is a couple of things. One, I'm not an absolutist, so I'm not a big believer in the words always or never, right or wrong, good or bad. There are 7 billion people on this planet. Can't begin to say what is right for 7 billion people. Can't begin to say what's never the thing to do for 7 billion people. So I work on a scale of 1 to 100. 1 being always unkind, always negative, always unloving, not compassionate, not peaceful. And the 100 being always that, always positive, always kind, always compassionate, always peaceful. I don't know anybody at the 0, and I don't know anybody at the 100. So my work is to be in the majority of the time. And I've made this a daily practice for many years. So my goal for myself is to be in the 80 to 100% of the time. That's where I focus on, to be positive, kind, compassionate, loving, peaceful. Those are my values that I work from. So I encourage you to just kind of think about for yourself, whatever you're going through in your life, where are you on that scale of 0 to 100? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever the number is, 60, 80, 90. It's not a right or wrong. It's where you are right now and where you want to go to. So if you're at a 40 and you feel good being at that 40, then be at that 40. If you're at a 40 and you want to strive to be in the majority of being kinder to yourself, the majority of time that you're more peaceful with yourself and others, then we just take small steps towards that to get there. Again, it's not a right or wrong or a good or bad. It's not always or never. There are certainly things that I think the vast majority, like 98% of us, are probably this way. But again, there's 7 billion people. I don't know everyone, so I don't want to talk for everyone on that. So you may catch me saying always and never occasionally, but the majority of the time I will frame it in it's the majority. So keep that in mind. Secondly, I am a coach. I love supporting people in growing whatever their best life looks like. My best life to yours could be vastly different. It could be similar, but it's about what you want to live your happiest, your healthiest, your most abundant life. And then we work from there. I am not a counselor nor am I a therapist. And sometimes in order to live your best life, that type of support is what's going to help get you there. So I highly encourage you to seek out whatever support systems you need to live your best life, whether it's hiring me as your coach, being here Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays with me, hiring another coach, or finding a counselor, a therapist, clergy member, your best friends, whatever it is. I encourage you to create your support system to allow you to live your best life. When I am here by myself, we talk about a word, come up with the definition of it. Well, don't come up with a definition. I look at the definition of it, come up with an affirmation around it, and then some tips to incorporate that into to your daily practices of living your best life. Sometimes I have guests on. Tomorrow will be a guest. Shauna Fisher is with me, and she is an animal communicator. So it's a little different topic than normal. However, our pets are so important to us. Knowing what's going on with them and feeling good about it helps us to live our best lives. So that's why I enjoy having her on. So I'm going to come into comments really quick, see who is joining me, then come back to the topic, because if I stay in comments, I'll forget what I'm here to talk about. And it's actually I did not write down who requested this conversation today. So I apologize if it was you and I did not give you credit for it, but it is a community request, today's conversation. So let me see really quickly who is joining us, and please feel free to ask questions on the topic, and also if you have other topics you would like me to address another time. Hello, Lori from Kansas City, Missouri. I am a St. Louis Cardinal fan, and we're just playing Kansas City. So actually, I've been to Kansas City. It's a beautiful town. Anita from Stone Mountain, Georgia. I don't know where that is, but it sounds lovely. Lori, I'm at about a 90 plus most of the time with others, a little less positive with myself. That's what I need to change. Wonderful, Lori, and we will discuss that. And matter of fact, maybe I'll come up with a topic around like breathing it in and being it first and then sharing it out. But I definitely think it's absolutely positive to be all that for other people and less likely for ourselves. I am that for a lot of people. And when I am unkind, it tends to be towards myself. Can I be unkind to others? Mostly my unkindness comes in thoughts. I'm very word sensitive, so I choose my words carefully and certainly my actions carefully. So my unkindness is usually directed at myself. So I totally get it, Lori, what you're saying. Hello, Jesse. Welcome for the first time. Thank you for joining. And so today's conversation, I also forgot to say that sometimes I do not see comments until I come back. Oh, here we have somebody from Malawi. I'm going to try to say your name, but I apologize if I mess it up. Tamandani? Let's say it's that. And Linda is a first timer too. Thank you. Christy from Melbourne, Victoria. Christy, what time is it where you're at? I've always tried to figure out, because we're like 15 hours difference, I think, something like that. And Linda from Maryland. I'm going to try to say your name. Mujat. No, I'm not going to try to say it. God bless you as well. And Lynn is here, and Steve is here from Germany. Pranitha, Christy, Sandra, lots of people are here. Hello, Stacia. Canada is in the house. Wonderful, wonderful. So today's conversation, we're going to talk about it in the aspect of it being on reaching our goals or reaching our experiences. If you've been with me before, I personally am not a big fan of the word goal for myself. Many people love it. And if it's a word that works for you, you use it. It just feels a little heavy-handed, like I'm setting myself up not to succeed for me. But many people, that's not the case. So use whatever words work for you. I like to focus on what I want to experience in my life. Some people want to say what their goals are in their life. So it's whatever feels right to you. But somebody asked me about how to stay consistent on achieving their goals. So that was the conversation we're going to have today. But I encourage you to also use the consistency, the tips on being consistent with your thoughts, your words, and your actions towards what you're wanting to live. So if you're wanting to live a peaceful life, and yet you find your thoughts and words are very angry, and maybe your actions tend to be angry, then they're not congruent with what your wish is to live. So when you're paying attention, then you're going to be consistent to focus on these thoughts, these words, and these actions. They're not right or wrong, but they aren't taking you towards where you want to be. So it's about being aware of where you want to be, being aware of where you are, and being aware of where you want to be. So today's word is consistent. The definition is marked by harmony, regularity, or steady continuity. Again, marked by harmony, regularity, or steady continuity. And I think I'm going to talk about harmony one of these days, because I used to use the words that my life is in balance, from my personal to professional, but we're not always in balance. So when you're in harmony, whether you're spending more time in your personal life or more time in your professional life, you're still in harmony. Everything is working together. So I do like the word harmony over balance, but that's another day, another topic. So again, today's topic is consistent, marked by harmony, regularity, or steady continuity. Now, the affirmation for today is I am consistently focused on living my best life. I am consistently focused on living my best life. Keep in mind, I'm not an always or never person. So for me, the consistency, it's not saying I'm always consistent, but the consistency is being 51% of the time I am focused on what I want. 51% of the time I'm focused on living my best life. There may be days, might be weeks, might just be hours where you're not in that majority time. So it's not a right or wrong. It's where you're at, where you want to go. So not the definition, the affirmation is I am consistently focused on living my best life. Now, if affirmations are new to you, it's simply a statement. It's not a positive or a negative statement. I personally work with positive statements. However, a positive statement for me may not be a positive statement for you, or vice versa. So if I were to say I am very smart, just that statement is positive. But if I don't feel very smart, so I say I'm very smart, and I immediately say, no, you're not, well, then that positive statement is not a good one for me. So then I would go into, I'm in the process of feeling very smart. I'm in the process of becoming very smart, or change it up completely into something that is believable. You would like it to be a little bit of a stretch because you're growing into it. That's what the affirmation is helping you do. And it's replacing those negative thoughts they're just kind of in our unconscious psyche that we're forming decisions and beliefs on without even aware of the fact that it's coming from past thoughts. So you want to have that affirmation be believable, but it to be a stretch. But if it's such a big stretch that you're immediately negating it, then you're taking the power out of the affirmation because you've already said no to it. So pay attention to how it feels when you create an affirmation. And then I do my affirmations first thing in the morning before I get out of bed. I'm pretty consistent about that. And then I do them when I go to bed too, and I'm pretty consistent about that too. There's other things I'm not that consistent with, but those are ones that I definitely am consistent with. So if you have another idea for affirmation, add that into the comments too. I'd love to see what kind of affirmations you're using. So the tips for consistency. Again, keep in mind whatever it is in your life, whether it's a goal, whether it's an experience, whether it's just who you want to be, and be consistent with it. So you're going to want to be consistent in your thoughts around it. You're going to want to be consistent in your words that you use, and you're going to want to be consistent in your actions towards it. Again, consistent isn't every single time. There are people who are incredibly consistent and do things daily, habitually, and they're very good at it. But I'd say the majority of us are going to ebb and flow with whatever it is that we're creating. So I want you to be gentle with yourself through that process and know that it's the work that I do majority of the time, 51%. If you're at 60% or 90%, great. If you're at 30% or 40%, you're not wrong and you're not bad. It's just where you're at right now. And if that feels good to you, have at it. If you're wanting to move forward to feel a little bit more consistent in whatever it is you're creating, then we'll take these small steps forward to do so. So the first step is to know what it is that you want to be consistent about. So if you're taking your thoughts, words, and actions, then that's everything. But right now we're focusing on, because the question at hand was on achieving goals. So what goal are you setting for yourself? Maybe it's 1, maybe it's 5, whatever it is, have an idea of what you want to be consistent with. And then know the why behind the goal. Why is that important to you? Why is it important for you to have a new job or a promotion or whatever it is? List out the things that make it the why, the feeling of that goal being reached. What's going to feel like once you get there? So you want to know what your goal is. You want to know the whys behind the goals, and then feel through it on, you've set a goal and just see yourself at that goal. How is that going to feel? How is it going to sound? How are you going to hear it? What are the people around you that are enjoying you reaching that goal with you? So set those aside. The second thing is to then create some small steps forward. Depending on the size of your goal, many of our goals and experiences aren't something that are going to happen necessarily this week or today. They can be, and that's great if they are. But generally speaking, there takes a little bit of time to evolve and develop and grow into whatever that bigger goal is. So take some smaller steps and put them in your calendar. Like maybe you need to decide what's going to work best for you. But since we're building our consistent muscles, I would encourage you not to necessarily say every single day, I'm going to do this. Maybe when you're starting, it's going to be 3 times a week, I'm going to do this. So let's say that one of your goals is to travel someplace. My place I have on my list is to see the Northern Lights. So one of my steps could be to check out Norway. Another step could be check out Iceland, check out Alaska, and find the best place for me to see it. The next one could be is to discover different packages and how much it's going to cost me to get there. What's the best time of year to get there? So put them in your calendar, because generally speaking, when we have it on our calendar, put it on a time. 10 a.m. this day, 8 p.m. I'm going to do 30 minutes. I'm going to do this research. 30 minutes, I'm going to look up this. Maybe it's 15 minutes. Do something that is doable for you, because as you're building your consistent muscles, I want you to see success. When we get excited about a goal or an experience, we tend to go all in. It's like, I'm going to spend all day tomorrow focusing on creating this or that. And then we set ourselves up for failure because we don't have the capacity. Maybe our days are busy. Maybe, we work a lot and we have family commitments. So do something that you're setting yourself up for small steps to achieve, because you want to keep building upon that and feeling good that you're doing it. So do it that way too. And one of the ways I would encourage you to look at it is how do you feel with your to-do list? So when I'm working with clients, I ask them, if you have 10 things on your to-do list, 10 things for today to do, and all 10 of them are possible to do today. So it's not like you've got 10 things on your to-do list and some of them are going to be a month to accomplish. So you've got 10 things on your to-do list. You do 7 of them. Do you feel successful that you did 7 and happy about it? And you could very well have great reasons why you didn't get those other 3 done. Or are you focused on the 3 you didn't do, even though you got all those other things done? It's, again, not a right or wrong. It's how you handle it. If you're somebody who focuses on the 7, then you can keep those goals bigger and grow them from that, because you're not beating yourself up over what you didn't accomplish. But if you're the person who's focused on the 3 that you didn't accomplish, set smaller goals, because again, we're wanting to keep you moving forward, feeling successful. The easiest way to step out of consistency is when you don't feel like you can do it. And then you just stop doing it because you haven't been consistent with it. So you want to just build upon where you're at. I tend to be somebody who focuses on the 3 that I didn't get accomplished. So I will do smaller goals to get there, to keep that building momentum, because I could easily go into a big goal and see it happening right now and ignore the steps to get there, and then feel defeated because it's not happening in the time frame I want it to happen into. So it's again about being consistent, building small steps to keep you feeling successful with that. And then I already said to block off time in your calendar and set up reminders. So when you put it in your calendar, have it, whether it's a half an hour reminder, 10-minute reminder, so you know. And there are going to be times where that pops up on your calendar and you're not able to do it. And that's okay too. But you've got it in there to start the consistency going. Then I encourage you to get a partner to work with. And maybe they have some goals or some experiences that they're wanting to create in their life, they're wanting to be consistent with, but somebody to just check in with. The word that's used is accountability partner, and I'm not a big fan of that word either, but it's just somebody to check in with, keep you on track for what you want, and to cheerlead you to say you're doing a great job, or okay, we've had this back step here, what can we do to move forward? Because I highly encourage you, one of the biggest steps I'm going to use the word always, going to encourage you to do is to be gentle with yourself through the process. As you're building these muscles, you may have days where you don't do what you set out to do. The more you beat yourself up over not accomplishing it, the more you're keeping yourself in that energy of the lower energy of not accomplishing something. And it's just going to keep you focused on, well, I'm not going to do it tomorrow either. So be gentle with yourself in the process. And then keep focusing on the result that you're looking for. If it's a bigger goal or experience and it's something that's 6 months down the road, maybe it's a year down the road, even 5 years down the road, it's very easy to not feel like you're accomplishing anything or staying consistent because you don't see a lot of results in it. So focus on, I set this goal, I set this experience because the why. Why do I want to have this in my life? Why do I want to experience this in my life? So use that when you had those days where you may not want to do the steps that it needs to get you to where you want to go. So keep that in mind as well. And celebrate your successes, even the smallest success. So if you take these tips and you put some ideas in your calendar for some steps, celebrate that you did that. If you make some phone calls today or this week on a goal that you're doing, celebrate that. If you see examples of what it is that you want in your life and you're aware of it, celebrate that. Keep that muscle building that you can do it and you can stay consistent. And it will be there for you on the days that either you don't stay consistent or it's a struggle to stay consistent. So it's about being gentle with yourself through that. And that's it. Is to really be gentle with yourself and go back to your why. Why is this important to me? And it may, generally speaking, if we've made it a goal or something that we want to experience, it doesn't change completely. But as we move forward for something, the idea of the end result may look a little different than where we started out. When I started Positive Focus, it completely looks different now than the day I started it. And it's totally fine. And it took some growth to get there, but I love where it's at now. I wanted it to be a building here in Chicago back in 2007 and 8. I don't have a building, nor do I want to run a building. I want to reach out and help as many people around the world as I can. That's more doable without having to run a building too. So know that it may change, it may shift. So be okay with that. It's not that it's a failure, that it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. Go back to how you want to feel in that experience. Most likely, I'm not going to say always, but most likely the feeling of what you want is going to be there, even if the actual image turns out to look a little different. So those are the tips for today on consistency. Be gentle with yourself, especially if being consistent isn't something that you're currently considered good at. It's a practice. It's a daily practice. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. Doesn't mean you're not going to have days where it's hard to do or days that you choose not to do it. But when you're aware of how you feel, then you can move forward to feel a little bit better or stay exactly where you are. It's not a right or wrong if you don't feel good. Anger, frustration, disappointment, all of those things aren't wrong. It's how much time, attention, and energy do you want to give to them. So that's what I have for you today. Let me see if I have any comments here. And again, if I missed somebody, it's not that I intended to, but sometimes I do not see the comments. Hello, Christy. Pranitha, I hope I said that right. Hello. Maryland is in the house with Linda. Linda, first time. Welcome, welcome. I might have actually welcomed you already. I'm not sure now. Liam from Philippines is here. Hello, Kathy. And Simbit. And Drace, I hope I said your name right. Anyway, I don't see any questions or comments regarding today's topic. If you have any, go ahead and put them in there. I will come back later in the day and look them up and answer them accordingly or make it another topic. Or if you have other topics that you would like me to bring a little love, kindness, compassion, and peace to, the majority of the time, there is nothing wrong with being angry. There's nothing wrong with being worried, frustrated, disappointed, sad. All of those things that is human in us. It's how much time, how much energy, and how much power do you want those feelings to have over you? Feel what you need to feel. Be aware of how you feel, because when you're aware, you can shift and change. When you're not aware, you're on autopilot, and life is living you, and you're not living your life. So take just some small steps forward today to be consistent with living your best life, whatever that looks like. Be consistent in your thoughts about your best life. Be consistent in your words about your best life, and be consistent in your actions about your best life. So I will see you back here tomorrow, 11:30 Chicago time, with guest Shauna, and she will be talking to you about if you have any questions about your pets or animals that have crossed over the rainbow bridge. She can tap into their energy too. It's even if you, I don't have pets right now, but it's really fascinating to listen to other people when they ask her questions. So even if you don't have a pet or you're just curious, stop in tomorrow at 11:30, and then I'll be back again on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. So go out there and have a day filled with love, kindness, compassion, and peace. I'll talk to you soon. And remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world. And most importantly, you matter to you. So long for now.